This is the Intermediate Algebra Final Exam Review. We're going to do problem 29 now, and the instructions to problem 29 say solve and express the solution using interval notation. This is an inequality. It's a compound inequality because it's got multiple inequalities, and it's called an and inequality because when you read this, you read from the center out. You can read this as 3x minus 5 is greater than negative 11 and 3x minus 5 is less than 4. When we solve a compound inequality, like an and inequality, we have to remember that we don't just have two sides anymore. We actually have three sides. So everything we do to balance this equation, or inequality, we're going to have to do to all three sides. For example, if you're trying to isolate the x variable, you want to get x standing alone in the center, you need to get rid of this minus 5. How do you get rid of a minus 5? You add 5. But not just to both sides, but to all three sides. So we add 5 to all three sides. Negative 11 plus 5 gives us negative 6. Rewrite what's left in the center after you get rid of the 5's. 4 and 5 give you 9. So we've simplified our compound inequality by getting rid of the loose stuff. That minus 5 is gone now. But we're still trying to get x standing alone, so what we need to do now is undo what's being done to x. If x is being multiplied by 3, how do we undo multiplication by 3? We divide by 3. And when you divide by 3, you divide by 3 on all three sides. That's the hardest thing to remember, and the thing you have to catch yourself when you're going into the final is you got to remember to do that divide by 3 to all sides. Negative 6 over 3 is negative 2. X is still in the middle between these two inequalities, and on the right, 9 over 3 is 3. Now let's try saying this again. When you get this answer, this is the answer in inequality notation, and we would read it from the center out. X is greater than negative 2, and x is less than 3. But that's not the answer the way they wanted it. They wanted the answer in interval notation. And as you've learned in class, you can't just go right from inequality notation to interval notation. You want to make a stop along that trip on the number line. So we try to write this answer on the number line by finding negative 2 on the number line and positive 3, and realizing that the x values that we want are greater than negative 2. We use a curvy bracket when it's greater than and a square bracket when it's greater than or equal to. And so those values are greater than negative 2 and less than positive 3. And inequalities are sandwiched between, because and mathematically means that both conditions have to be met. We don't want numbers out here that are less than 3 but not greater than negative 2. We don't want these numbers over here that are greater than negative 2 but not less than 3. We only want the stuff sandwiched between, and it helps to realize that this inequality kind of sandwiches your x in the middle. When you're done with the number line, you're ready to write your answer in interval notation. And the answer in interval notation is the interval from negative 2 to positive 3. Look back in your notes and you'll find other examples where we did greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, and those were brackets, square brackets, instead of curvy parentheses. So this is the answer in interval notation, and if you always want to check it, you can take a number that's in that interval and it should solve your original equation. A number that's outside of that interval won't.